All right, everybody, welcome back to our Slayer album review series. We're still last time we entered the 2000s, so we're still in there. Our second album of the 2000s, this time in 2006. We left off last time with "God Hates Us All," which saw the band kind of return more so to their more so to their roots as far as the stylistic changes they kind of delved into a little bit during the 90s. They still retained some of that, but then kind of incorporated that into more of their classic sound. And we kind of see the same thing going on here, except they lean even further back into that more classic sound with 2006 Christ Illusion. And yeah, this cover is absolutely insane looking. Really cool looking art. Got Jesus on there, kind of looking a little messed up there, to say the least. But you go on Spotify or I think and try to listen to this. It's got the cover with like just the hand with the hole in it, kind of like when God Hates Us All, it had a censored cover or whatever. But you get the physical thing, you get the straight up true cover here. But yeah, guys, we also what's really exciting on here is Dave Lombardo decided to join back up with the gang here, and his presence is most certainly felt. As I've stated before, I controversially like Paul Bostaph more as a drummer, but it's no secret for any of the reviews in which Dave was on, which is the majority of Slayer's discography. I'm a huge fan of Dave Lombardo. I think he's absolutely incredible drummer, and it's totally fair to say he's one of the best drummers of all time. He's in that talk. I just, I kind of prefer Paul Bostap's sound. His kind of tone to the drums that he gives them. But anyways, yeah, really cool having him back on here. And his presence, again, is immediately felt right off the bat with track number 1, Flesh Storm. Really, really heavy hitter right here. Right off the bat, you get them leaning a lot more into the, kind of the melody-based stuff. Again, there's kind of the verses and stuff are fast on this one, but then you get that kind of really, really hooky melody, akin to something like you would hear on like the title track "South of Heaven" or something you'd hear off "Seasons in the Abyss." So really, really cool way to open this up and say, we're kind of showing. Really, the best way to describe this album overall would be, and as we'll see as we go through these tracks here, is it's like they really are showing just like each track kind of embodies. What am I trying to say here? I'm trying to word it. It's almost like it feels like a compilation, but new songs in a way, right? Because there's a lot of, it feels like a good look at the history of the band as far as their sound goes. And each of these songs kind of are harkening back to some of these other, some previous kind of sounds and stuff they've dealt with. A lot less. This one pretty much has gotten rid of all new metal elements. God Hates Us All had maybe a little bit of that from time to time on there, but mostly not. But it kind of had its own feel. This one, it's like a return. It's a true return to form. It seems, but yeah, it almost feels like a good a good album to kind of show what the band's all about. They really show a lot of the different styles and stuff that they've done throughout the years on this album. Kind of like, again, with Flesh Storm, kind of has a really, really hooky, more melodic chorus, but still really, really vicious and visceral. Then we go to track number 2, Catalyst, another really, really solid track here. I love the riff that's going on with this one. Even Hanneman and King are kind of throwing in more of that kind of really squealy sounding, guitar soloing and stuff, and just all over the place shredding, which they do through on just about every record pretty much, but it's definitely more of a prominent sound on those 80s Slayer albums, and it's kind of returned here in a lot of ways, and you can hear it really well on the track Catalyst. and just a really, really cool track. There's also the presence of that wah-wah pedal that kind of made more of an appearance on, God Hates Us All, and I think maybe a little bit on Diabolus and Musica. They did keep that around because I think they could, ever since they did dabble with that, it makes for some really cool sounds and stuff they've got. But yeah, Catalyst, another great, great track. Then we go with one of my favorites off here, Skeleton Christ. Oh my God, man. The lyrics are brutal. The riff is brutal. I like the way this song kind of flows, has this kind of scratchy kind of riff to it, almost sounds like it's being, kind of like palm muted. I'm not sure if it is or not, but if it is, it's some heavy freaking, they're still strumming that thing real hard enough to make it chuggy, really, really chuggy kind of riff. And then, you start speeding it up with like with the chorus. Man, really, really brutal stuff. One of the standouts on here. It's probably the closest thing to a title track. There's not a title track on here, but Skeleton Christ, Christ Illusion. And this even looks like the album could be called Skeleton Christ from the way the album cover looks. But just a really, really cool song. One of my favorites off here, and a definite standout. I mean, that chorus, it's one of them really, really fast ones. But it's also that you can hear the chorus and remember it really well. Then we go with, oh man, this one is another just absolutely brutal one. These next, that track, this one, and the one after is like probably my top three off here. But this next one, Eisely Insane, oh my God. What a chuggy riff and track, man. And, Dave is, of course, back at it again with this freaking war drum sound going on here. And I love, love, love the melody they got going on in this. And this is another one, much like Skeleton Christ, where it's got some speed to it, but man, those melodies are gonna be sticking out, so that they really combined those very well together, those elements of like kind of the stuff they've done in the past. And it's just really prevalent on the track, on this track right here, Eisely Insane. One of my favorite songs off here, and again, another huge standout. And their discography, if you ask me, and a really cool and a really good representation of 2000 Slayer. Eisely Insane. I love kind of the way the lyrics are flowing. Talking about PTSD and panic attacks, and just really cool lyrics that flow really nicely together. Man, this one might be the best though. Jihad. Oh my God, this one, it opens up with this kind of cool, kind of cryptic sound to it. And just, man, the way the song evolves, it's a quick one. It's I think maybe 3 minutes, but it gives the illusion of being much longer just because the different kind of transition it takes. You've got that kind of, that really good headbanging riff, and then, it's kind of speeding up after that little, beginning kind of intro thing. And then there's this breakdown, man. I mean, oh my God. That once that breakdown kicks in, it's doing this really badass riff and this little lick going on in here that just sounds like classic Slayer. One of their best songs of all time, in my opinion. That is just an absolute banger of a track right there. No doubt in my mind. Jihad, I'm going to go ahead and say it's my favorite off here for sure. The really Skeleton Christ, Eisely Insane, and Jihad, all three right in a row, are just kick-ass. I mean, man. Then we go on to another really, really fast one, and I just noticed here, instead of putting, track number 6, they call it track 666, which is pretty cool packaging, Conspiracy. Really, really cool track here with cool lyrics, fast-paced one. I love the riff that's going on in this one. Can't go wrong with, a fast, heavy, brutal Slayer track that sounds like it could be off something like Hell Awaits. Then we go with Catatonic Man, another huge, one of my favorites off here again. I love this track. I love the chorus in this one. And again, just the lyrics, like most Slayer albums, they're brilliant, brutally brilliant, because they're, and are bound to, offend some people. But that's Slayer for you. You know what you're getting into if you look at an album cover like this. But just really, really cool song. And the way the lyrics flow, again, are really, really cool. I like the way in the melody that kind of comes along with Catatonic. Heavy ass track. Then we go with another absolute standout here, Black Serenade. Wow, what a cool and unique, definitely a huge standout for being a little bit different here on this album. I just love the chorus in this one. Probably, yeah, I'd probably say the hookiest of the choruses on here, while still being, of course, really freaking heavy. Black Serenade is an absolute, incredible track off here. A standout on here. One of my favorites. Love it. I mean, we're talking, not as much controversy as far as stylistic changes or anything as we're going along through here on this album. Because, unlike the 90s, they were kind of done experimenting. They knew what they were about at this point. So then we go on to track number 9, Cult. Really cool one. Got some really wild lyrics to it, really interesting. Super fast track. Really speedy one that, fits perfectly on here. And kind of, especially, I mean, you've got two pretty fast tracks, really to close out the album. Because after that one, we got Supremacist, which I would say maybe Supremacist might be my least favorite off here. But it's still a damn good song and a damn good closer. But I maybe would have closed it with something like Black Serenade, kind of more of a groove to it. But or maybe not. I think they maybe made the right call because having those, because I think Black Serenade kind of breaks up, any monotony that would have come. So I take that back. They call it right, but I mean it's just probably my least favorite off here though. Solid track though, and I like the lyrics again. I think Cult and Supremacist kind of go lead into each other very well to close out the album. But I would say if I maybe had to pick another one, Conspiracy maybe that one and Supremacist are probably my least favorites off here. But as I said, incredible stuff nonetheless, because we're talking about a great album. If it wasn't already clear, because I absolutely love this thing, and it had been quite some time since I had listened to this album. So this was really cool to revisit. I obviously really remember tracks like Jihad and Eisely Insane and and some of Skeleton Christ, but some of these you revisit them and you're like, damn. And that's kind of how it was for Black Serenade for me. I'm like, man, I forgot how much I freaking loved that one. And Flesh Storm, incredible album, incredible return for Dave Lombardo, who, is just, he's going nuts on here and showing, hey guys, I haven't missed a beat, I'm pretty sure he was doing stuff in between here with some other bands. Can't recall off the top of my head, but I'm pretty damn sure he was doing some other stuff and making some material with other bands. But, you can't go wrong. Again, even though I prefer Paul Bostaph taking the drum and roll, can't go wrong with Dave Lombardo because he's going to freaking deliver. And he absolutely does on this album, as well as the rest of the gang. And just incredible album, front to back. Not a bad song on here. So we're, definitely a solid output from the guys, in the mid-2000s. And that brings us to next time when we're looking at the last one of the 2000s. We got 2 more Slayer albums, guys. Been crazy. Been a crazy and heavy freaking ride, but we're getting close to closing it out. Of course, next time we'll be looking at 2009's World Painted Blood. That'll be a fun to look back on. That's another one I've not listened to in quite some time. It's been a good minute, and I like to put off listening to some of these stuff, like, if I know I'm going to be reviewing them in the near future, I kind of like put down, Slayer for a little bit until we can come back and re-listen to them with a completely fresh, with just a completely fresh take on them. So it's been just a blast running through these, and these 2000s albums are really, I mean, this one right here, it's going to be, we're getting to a point where it's going to be, I'm already having trouble ranking some of these albums. So we're going to keep on trucking through though, guys. I'd love to hear you guys' comments on this freaking nutso album cover here that's really cool and artistic looking. What do you guys think about Dave Lombardo hopping back on the band at this album? Did he kill it? I think he did. Maybe you guys are like, bring Paul back, which, as I stated, was like the third time. I prefer him, but I mean, it didn't piss me off at all that Dave was on this album because, damn, he made himself known, as he always does. You listen to Slayer, you're going to hear Dave's drumming 9 times out of 10, because I think Paul's only been on, I mean, he was, for all the 90s, I mean, a good 3 or 4 albums, I think, and of course he'll end up returning. But yeah, I would love to hear that too. Talk about down there, which drummer you prefer, because it is, there is a tough comparison. They're both have very similar styles. I just think maybe Paul's got a bit of a different kind of sound to his drumming, but both guys can beat on them things like freaking war drums. And stay tuned, guys, because we're getting close to doing the huge ranking video of these. Been a blast going through these. This is Christ Illusion right here. Next time we're taking a look at World Painted Blood. So like, subscribe, comment, and we'll see you next time, guys. Thanks.